My name is Greer, and on my 30th birthday, my world flipped upside down faster than a Seattle rainstorm. I'd scrimped for months to snag this killer navy blue cocktail dress. Simple lines, a subtle shimmer that screamed, "I've got my act together." I was pumped to toast the Big 3-0 at Harbor View, that swanky seafood joint right on the Elliott Bay waterfront, with waves lapping outside and the smell of fresh crab filling the air. But right in the middle of dessert, my niece Lila, 16, and full of that sharp-edged teen attitude, snatched her glass of red wine and chucked it straight at me. The liquid hit like a slap, soaking my chest, the stain spreading across the fabric like wildfire on dry grass. "Auntie Q now, acting all high and mighty now, huh?" she sneered, her voice cutting through the chatter like a knife. Harper, my fiancé's sister and Lila's mom, just let out a low chuckle, shaking her head like it was no big deal. Evelyn, my future mother-in-law, reached over and patted Lila's hand, murmuring, There, honey, let's not get too worked up." I sat there, frozen, the cold wine dripping down my skin, feeling every eye in the place on me. On the outside, I managed a tight smile, but inside? It felt like something vital had just shattered into a million pieces. And before we get back to the story, would you be kind enough to give this video a like? You know, every single like means a lot to me. It's the kind of encouragement that keeps me creating and bringing you even better stories tomorrow. I've always been the rock in this messy blended family setup. While Harper ping-ponged between gigs and guys up in Tacoma, I grinded my way up in logistics at a massive warehouse down in Seattle's industrial district. Started as an entry-level clerk fresh out of community college, logging shipments at dawn, dodging forklifts, and staying late to balance inventories when everyone else clocked out. Now, at 30, I'm shift supervisor, calling the shots on a team that keeps the supply chain humming like a well-oiled machine. It's blue-collar work, sweaty, demanding, with the constant beep of scanners and rumble of trucks, but it bought me my cozy condo in Ballard, complete with a sliver of water view on clear days. That, plus my trusty SUV and a wardrobe that's more practical than flashy, all earned through sweat equity. No silver spoon here, just elbow grease and a refusal to quit. The evening started with promise, but tension simmered from the jump. My work buddies, Sarah from receiving, Mike and his wife Jen, showed up right on time at 7, arms loaded with wrapped gifts and genuine grins. Sarah hugged me tight. "Girl, you look fierce in that dress. Happy birthday!" Mark, my fiancé, squeezed my hand under the table, his eyes saying he was all in. But his family? They were running late, as usual. Texts from Harper. "Traffic's a bitch on I-5. Be there soon." Evelyn chimed in. "Don't start without us, dear." By 7:30, the appetizers were out, oysters on the half-shell, tangy and briny, and I checked my phone again, that familiar knot twisting in my gut. Why did their delays always feel like a slight? Mark leaned in. "They'll make it. Relax, babe." But as minutes ticked by, the easy banter with my friends started to feel forced, like waiting for the other shoe to drop. When they finally breezed in at 8, the air shifted. Evelyn in her faded sundress, Harper in rumpled jeans looking harried, and Lila trailing with her phone glowing, decked in a crop top that screamed rebellion. No apologies, just a breezy "bridge was hell" from Harper as they slid into seats. My friends tried bridging the gap. Mike asking Lila about her volleyball team. "Greer says you're a beast on the court. Any big games coming up?" Lila shrugged, eyes on her screen. "Whatever." The server hustled to catch them up with salads, but the vibe was off, like oil and water refusing to mix. Sarah caught my eye across the table, her brow furrowed in silent question. "You okay?" I nodded, but inside, doubts crept in. Why did I keep bending over backward for this? As entrees arrived, seared salmon for me, steaming and flaky, the small talk turned prickly. Harper griped about her latest job flop, Evelyn nodding along, while my recent overtime bonus got a quick, "That's nice," before they pivoted back. Mark tried steering. Greer's killing it at work. Tell him about the new shift lead role. But Lila muttered something under her breath, and Harper shot me a look that said, "Must be nice." The escalation built like a slow boil, from their tardiness chipping at my excitement to the undercurrents of resentment bubbling up. By dessert, a decadent chocolate lava cake with a sparkler fizzing, Lila's whispers to Harper grew pointed, their glances my way sharpening. And then, boom! The wine flew. In that moment, as the stain set in and the restaurant hushed, hurt crashed over me like a rogue wave. How many times had I swallowed their digs, wired cash for emergencies, just to keep the peace? Mark half rose, face reddening. "What the hell, Lila?" But I waved him down, heart pounding. Inside, the dam broke, not just anger, but a deep, aching realization. This wasn't love. It was a one-way street. Something had to give, and for the first time, I knew it started with me. It all boiled down to this toxic family loop I'd been stuck in for years. One that started when Mark and I got serious, and his relatives became mine by default. I'd always prided myself on being the steady Eddie, the one who showed up, fixed things, and kept the ship afloat. But as I sat there in that ruined dress, wine sticky on my skin, I couldn't ignore how one-sided it had become. How did I end up as the family ATM? It hit me like a gut punch. This pattern didn't just happen. I'd enabled it, piece by piece, out of some misguided hope for harmony. Take my career. It's the backbone of everything I've built, and proof that hard work pays off in spades. I didn't come from money. Grew up in a cramped apartment in Everett, waitressing weekends through high school to help with bills. After graduating, I enrolled in community college for a logistics certificate, figuring supply chains were recession-proof. Landed my first gig as a warehouse clerk at 21, scanning barcodes in a cavernous space that smelled like cardboard and diesel. Those early shifts were brutal. 5 a.m. starts, hauling boxes till my back screamed, learning inventory software on the fly. But I hustled, volunteering for overtime, acing certifications. By 25, I was team lead, coordinating truckloads and troubleshooting delays like a pro. Now, at 30, as shift supervisor, I oversee 20 folks, making sure shipments hit deadlines without a hitch. It's not Wall Street flashy, but it afforded me my condo in Ballard, a cute one-bed with hardwood floors, a tiny balcony overlooking the locks, and enough space to breathe. Every mortgage payment feels like a win, a far cry from the instability I watched my own folks struggle with. That's where Rita comes in. She's my boss, a tough-as-nails 55-year-old who's seen it all in this industry. She's mentored me since day one, pulling me aside after tough shifts with advice like, "Greer, you're sharp. Don't let anyone dim that light." Over coffee breaks in the break room, amid the hum of vending machines, she'd share stories of her own climb, warning me about burnout. "Family's great, but don't let 'em bleed you dry," she'd say, sipping her black coffee. I brushed it off at first, but lately her words echoed louder, especially when Harper's calls rolled in. Harper, Mark's older sister by 5 years, took a wildly different path, one that left her perpetually scrambling. At 19, she got pregnant with Lila after a fling with some guy from community college, dropping her nursing classes mid-semester. "Life happens," she shrugged when Mark told me the story early in our dating days. Since then, it's been a carousel of temp jobs: cashier at Target, receptionist at a dentist's office, barista at Starbucks, each lasting a few months before she quit or got let go. Boyfriends came and went, some decent, others deadbeats who vanished when bills piled up. Living in a rundown apartment in Tacoma, she'd call me every few weeks with a new crisis. "Greer, the car's acting up. Can you spot me $200 for the mechanic? Just this once." At first, it was small stuff. A utility bill here, groceries there. I'd wire the cash, thinking, family helps family, right? But it escalated, like a snowball rolling downhill. One month, it was $500 for rent after a job loss. Next, 800 for Lila's braces because insurance lapsed. There was this one time last year that still burns me. Harper swore she was turning things around, landing a stable gig at a call center. "I'm independent now," she boasted over a family dinner at Evelyn's, fork waving like a flag. Mark beamed, proud of his sis. I bought it, even treated her to lunch to celebrate. But 2 weeks later, bam. Text at midnight. "Emergency. Boss fired me unfairly. Need $200 for rent or we're out on the street." Turns out, she'd blown off shifts for a weekend getaway with a new guy. I paid up, but inside, resentment simmered. Why was I always the safety net? Rita nailed it when I vented at work. "Greer, that's not helping, that's enabling. Set some boundaries before you resent the hell out of them." The credit card was my biggest mistake, meant for true crises. About 3 years ago, after Harper's car got repoed, I added her as an authorized user on mine, thinking it'd cover basics like gas or doctor copays. Just for emergencies, I stressed. But statements told a different story. Charges at Sephora for makeup she didn't need, Uber Eats splurges, even a spa day in Bellevue. I'd log in monthly, see the balance climb to $1,000, $2,000, and pay it off without a fuss. Family, right? Wrong. It bred entitlement. Then came the car for Lila. She turned 15, begging for wheels to get to volleyball practice without bumming rides. Mark pushed. It'd help Harper out. So I shelled out for a used Honda Civic, reliable, low miles, $18,000 after haggling. Put it in my name for insurance perks, telling Lila, "Drive safe. It's yours to use till graduation." Her face soured. "So it's not really mine?" Still, she posted selfies with it on Insta, captioning, "My ride more blessed." I covered gas stipends, maintenance, another escalation from occasional help to full sponsorship. Evelyn fueled the fire, always playing favorites. Mark's mom, widowed young, doted on Harper as the struggling single mom, excusing her flops with, "She's doing her best." My wins? Downplayed. When I bought the condo, Evelyn said, "That's lovely, dear, but don't forget, home is where the heart is, not the view." Meanwhile, Harper's latest brave job hunt got endless praise. It stung, like I was the outsider earning my keep while they coasted on sympathy. All this churned in my head as my birthday loomed. Maybe this celebration would flip the script, show them the life I'd built, earn some real respect. Deep down, I clung to that hope, ignoring Rita's warnings. Little did I know, it was about to blow up in my face. That hope flickered brighter just a few weeks before my birthday, when I nailed a promotion to senior shift supervisor. It came with a hefty raise, enough to finally stash away for that dream wedding venue Mark and I had eyed, and a pat on the back from the higher-ups for streamlining our overnight loads. I was buzzing, picturing how it'd ease things, maybe even let me cut back on overtime. First call went to Mark. "Babe, guess who just leveled up?" He whooped over the phone, genuine excitement in his voice. "That's my girl. Proud of you. We gotta celebrate." But then he paused, that familiar hitch. "You telling Mom and Harper?" I could hear the caution, knowing how family ties pulled him in too. "Yeah," I said. "Why not? It's good news." Deep down, though, I braced for it. The way my achievements always seemed to shrink in their eyes, like I was showing off instead of sharing wins. Dialed Evelyn next, heart thumping as I paced my balcony's worn deck. "Hey, just wanted to share. I got promoted today. Senior sup now?" Her response was warm at first. "Oh, honey, that's wonderful." But then the pivot, quick as a switch. "Did I tell you Harper's got an interview lined up? Receptionist at a clinic, fingers crossed for her." No questions about what the role meant. No, "How'd you pull that off?" Just a detour to Harper's brave steps. It stung, like always, feeding that quiet ache for real recognition. Why couldn't my grind get the spotlight without qualifiers? I hung up, staring at the locks below, boats chugging through like my thoughts. Steady, but overlooked. Harper's text came later. Congrats on the bump up. Must be nice climbing that ladder without a kid in tow. No emoji, no call. Just that undercurrent of envy, twisting the knife. I replied upbeat. Thanks. Hard work paying off. But inside, it gnawed at me. I loved them, flaws and all. Harper's fierce mom vibe, Lila's spark, Evelyn's homemade pies at holidays. They were becoming my family, tied through Mark, and I clung to the belief that one day they'd see me. The woman who'd bootstrapped her way up, not some lucky outsider. This birthday felt like the turning point. Surround them with my world, and maybe, just maybe, they'd cheer without the side eye. Ignoring the red flags? Yeah, guilty as charged, but hope's a stubborn thing, whispering, this time, it'll be different. Planning kicked off with laser focus, the kind I bring to warehouse crises. Harbor View wasn't cheap, but its waterfront deck and killer seafood screamed special occasion. I set a calendar alert and called the second reservations opened, snagged a table for 10 on my exact date. Private corner with bay views. Felt like a sign. Next, the dress. I hit up department stores on weekends off, trying on a dozen before spotting the navy number at Macy's. Fitted sheath with a subtle sheen, hugging just right without trying too hard. $400 after tax, my biggest clothing splurge since the condo down payment. In the fitting room, twirling under fluorescent lights, it hit. This was me, owning my moment. The saleswoman, a bubbly 40-something with a name tag reading Tina, knocked on the door. How's it fitting? I stepped out, and her eyes lit up. Honey, you look like a boss. Special night? My 30th, I grinned. Dinner by the water. She nodded approvingly. No guy's arm candy? Good for you. Celebrating yourself? That's real power. Her words landed like a high five, boosting that inner resolve. No handouts here. I'd earned this glow-up. Invites flew out via text and email. Work pals like Sarah and Mike RSVP'd yes in minutes, pumped for crab legs and toasts. Mark was locked in, texting heart emojis. But family? The calls dragged, building that slow burn tension. Evelyn first. A Thursday? That's a haul from Tacoma, dear. I can send an Uber, I offered, swallowing frustration. We'll see. Gotta check Harper's schedule. Lila's got practice. Hope dipped a notch, that familiar doubt creeping. Were they dodging? Harper's reply. Sounds ritzy. Sure it's not too much? My treat, I assured. Everyone covered. Lila needs an outfit then. Can't roll in sweats. I wired 100 for clothes, but her tone lingered, like I was imposing. Mark tried reassuring over dinner that night. They'll come around. They love you. But his eyes betrayed hesitation, caught between loyalties. Just don't push too hard, okay? It shook my optimism a hair, that subtle reversal. Maybe this wouldn't magically fix things. Still, I pushed forward, ignoring the cracks. By birthday eve, invites confirmed, dress hanging ready, I let excitement bubble up. Tomorrow night would be it, the reset button. Little did I know, the storm was just gathering steam. Birthday morning broke with a crisp Seattle sunrise, the kind that paints the sky pink over the sound and makes you feel like anything's possible. I woke early, heart humming with anticipation, determined to make today count. After weeks of planning, securing that table at Harbor View, splurging on the navy dress that hugged my curves just right, I wanted to soak in every second. I treated myself to a slow morning, brewed a strong coffee, the nutty aroma filling my condo, then hit a local spa for a quick massage. The therapist's hands kneaded away tension I didn't know I was carrying, and as I lay there, I let myself believe tonight would be the night. Mark's family would see me, really see me, and we'd finally click as a unit. By afternoon, I was at the salon, hair swept into loose waves, a touch of mascara to pop my eyes. Slipping into that $400 dress, I caught my reflection in the mirror. Damn, I looked good. Like a woman who'd earned her place, ready to own her moment. I got to Harbor View by 6:45. The waterfront air sharp with salt and a hint of grilled seafood wafting from the kitchen. The host, a guy in a crisp white shirt, greeted me. "Ms. Hayes, happy birthday. Your table's ready, champagne's chilling." Our spot was perfect. A corner nook with floor-to-ceiling windows, the bay sparkling under early evening light. I smoothed my dress, nerves dancing. Mark arrived first, looking sharp in a blazer, his grin easing my jitters. "You're killing it, babe," he said, kissing my cheek. My work crew rolled in right on time. Sarah from receiving, all smiles in a red wrap dress, and Mike with his wife Jen, toting gift bags. Sarah hugged me tight. 30 looks good on you, girl." Mike handed me a sparkly card. "From both of us, open it later." Their warmth was like a shot of espresso, grounding me. I checked my phone. No texts from Harper or Evelyn yet. Just traffic, I told myself. But that familiar unease crept in, whispering doubts from last night's hesitant calls. By 7:15, we ordered drinks. Margaritas for Sarah, beer for Mike, sparkling water for me to stay sharp. The table buzzed with chatter about work gripes and weekend plans, but I kept glancing at the door. Mark squeezed my hand under the table. "They'll show, don't stress." Sarah caught my eye, her brow furrowing slightly, like she sensed the shift in my mood. She leaned over. "Everything cool?" "Yeah," I lied, forcing a smile. "Just waiting on family." Her nod was knowing. She'd heard my vent sessions about Harper's last-minute bailouts. The appetizers hit, oysters glistening on ice, lemon wedges bright, and we dug in, the briny tang of fleeting distraction. But by 7:45, with no word, my hope wobbled. Had they ditched? Was this another something came up moment? Then, at 8:03, they strolled in. Evelyn in a faded floral top that screamed church picnic, Harper in rumpled jeans and a scowl, Lila trailing with her phone glowing, decked in a too-short skirt and crop top that looked straight out of a mall clearance rack. No apologies, just Harper's grumble. I-5 was a parking lot. Bridge sucked. Evelyn added a breezy, "Didn't want to miss it, dear." But her eyes darted away. Lila barely looked up, thumbs flying over her screen. The server scrambled to get the menus, and I pasted on a smile. "Glad you made it. Let's get you caught up." But their vibe clashed hard with the polished setting. Crystal glasses, linen napkins, the hum of upscale chatter. Sarah shot me another look, her lips tight, like she was bracing for trouble. Mike tried to break the ice. "Lila, Greer says you're a volleyball star. Any big matches soon?" Lila shrugged, barely audible. "It's whatever." Jen chimed in, sweet but strained. "Bet it's fun, though. Team sports are the best." Lila didn't bite, just scrolled. The main courses landed, my salmon perfectly seared, steam curling up. But the table felt split, like two worlds shoved together. My friends kept the conversation rolling, tossing out work anecdotes, while Harper complained about her latest job drama. "Boss cut my hours. Total BS." Evelyn nodded along, patting her arm. "You'll find something better, sweetie." I tried joining. "If you want, I can ask around. Our warehouse is hiring." Harper's eyes narrowed. "Not all of us can play corporate, Greer." The jab landed, sharp and cold, and Sarah's fork paused mid-air, catching the edge in Harper's tone. Mark jumped in. "She's just offering help, Harper." But the air thickened, polite chit-chat turning to barbed subtext. My offer, meant to bridge the gap, had been swatted away, and that flicker of hope from the morning dimmed a bit more. Then Mike, bless him, pivoted. "Greer, tell him about that time you saved the holiday rush. Total badass move." I laughed, starting to share how I'd rerouted a delayed shipment. But Evelyn cut in. "Oh, Lila's got a tournament next week. Her coach says she's a natural." The table quieted, my story left hanging. Inside, I wrestled with it. Part of me wanted to push back, demand space, but another part whispered, "Keep the peace. It's your day." I took a sip of water, the ice clinking, and let it slide. But the tension kept climbing, small slights stacking up like kindling. When I mentioned Lila's college plans, hoping to spark something positive, Harper snapped, "Not everyone's cut out for that path. Some of us live in the real world." The words hung heavy, and Sarah's eyes met mine again, silently asking, "You sure about this crowd?" Right then, I brought up the college fund I'd started for Lila years ago. A few grand tucked away, enough for community college or a trade program with scholarships. I thought it'd be a win, a gesture to show I cared. But the second it left my lips, Harper's face hardened and Lila's head snapped up from her phone, eyes flashing. Evelyn's smile froze. I'd meant to build a bridge, but it felt like I'd just lit a fuse. The college fund bombshell landed like a misfired spark in a dry forest, and the air at our Harborview table crackled with tension. I'd thought mentioning the savings, $5,000 tucked away for Lila's future, would be a heartwarming gesture, a way to show I'd been rooting for her all along. Instead, Harper's jaw tightened, her fork clinking hard against her plate. Lila's phone dropped to her lap, her eyes narrowing like I'd just insulted her. Evelyn's smile went brittle, her fingers fussing with her napkin. "A fund?" Harper said, voice low but sharp, like a blade hidden in velvet. "You've been sitting on that while we're scraping by?" I blinked, caught off guard. "It's for Lila. College, trade school, whatever she wants." But the words felt like they were sinking into quicksand. Inside, my heart thudded, torn between defending my intent and the sinking realization that I'd misread the room. Why did my olive branch always get twisted into a slight? Sarah, bless her, tried to pivot, raising her glass with a bright grin. "Okay, let's toast Greer. 30 years and slaying it." Mike and Jen followed, their voices warm. "To Greer, the warehouse wizard who keeps us all in line." Their sincerity wrapped around me like a warm blanket, and I managed to smile, clinking my sparkling water against their margaritas. Mark joined in, his "to my badass fiancé" earnest, but tinged with a nervous glance at his family. Harper's toast was half-hearted, her glass barely lifted. "Yeah, happy birthday, Greer." Evelyn's was softer, almost distracted. "To 30, dear. Time flies." Lila didn't bother, her fingers back on her phone, typing furiously. The contrast stung. My friends saw me, celebrated me, while Mark's family seemed to tolerate me at best. That inner tug-of-war flared. "Keep the peace, Greer, or call it out." I sipped my drink, the ice cold against my lips, and chose peace, for now. Gift time should have been a highlight, but it only widened the divide. Sarah slid over a sleek spa voucher, her eyes sparkling. "For you to unwind, you deserve it." Mike and Jen handed me a velvet pouch with Mariners tickets, Mike chuckling, "First baseline, next month, don't ghost us." I laughed, genuinely touched, hugging each gift like a lifeline. Then Harper pushed a crumpled drugstore bag across the table, a $5 candle inside, the kind you grab at checkout. The card read "Happy B-Day" in her scrawl, no frills. "Thanks," I said, keeping my voice warm, but Harper shrugged. "Not all of us can drop big bucks on gifts." The jab landed like a pebble in a pond, rippling unease. Sarah's eyebrow twitched, and I caught Jen's quick glance at Mike, like they sensed the undercurrent. I wanted to say, "It's not about the cost, but the effort." But I bit my tongue, the weight of their dismissal settling heavier. Mark leaned in, trying to bridge the gap. "Hey, Harper, tell Greer about Lila's volleyball spikes. Pretty epic, right?" He was grasping, hoping to spark something positive. Harper snorted. "She's good, but camps cost a fortune, unlike some people's fancy promotions." The table froze. My chest tightened, that familiar sting of being reduced to a paycheck. Mark's face reddened. "Come on, that's not fair." But Harper doubled down, her voice rising. "Fair? Easy to say when you're not the one hustling as a single mom." Evelyn patted her hand. Now, let's enjoy the night. Lila smirked, still scrolling like she was above it all. I fought the urge to snap back, my mind racing. Why does every step forward feel like a tug of war? My phone buzzed under the table. A text from Rita, my boss, who'd become my rock over years of warehouse chaos. Heard it's your big 3-0. Own it, kid. Don't let anyone dim your shine. Her words hit like a shot of courage, reminding me I didn't have to shrink to fit their mold. I tucked the phone away, steeling myself as the server rolled out dessert. A chocolate lava cake, caramel drizzle spelling Happy 30th Greer, with a sparkler fizzing bright. The table oohed, my friends snapping pics, but Lila's whisper to Harper cut through. Must be nice throwing cash around. Harper nodded, her lips curling, and Evelyn joined their huddle, their murmurs sharp with envy. My stomach knotted. Why couldn't they just celebrate with me? Desperate to salvage the vibe, I tried again. Lila, about that fund. If you're thinking college or even a coaching program, I can help plan it. Big mistake. Harper's eyes flashed. What, so you can hold it over us? Show off your big savings while we're drowning? Lila chimed in, voice dripping venom. I don't need your charity, Auntie. The word twisted, mocking, and Evelyn just sighed. Greer, maybe this isn't the time. My friends went silent, Sarah's hand brushing mine under the table, a quiet lifeline. Mark tried again. She's just trying to help, guys. Can we chill? But his words fell flat, drowned by Harper's glare and Lila's scoff. The sparkler dimmed, and so did my hope. Lila's hand hovered near her wine glass, supposedly a mocktail, but I caught a whiff of Merlot. Her eyes locked on me, glinting with something dangerous, her fingers twitching like she was itching to act out. My heart pounded, sensing the storm about to break. Lila's fingers tightened around her wine glass, her eyes locked on me like a predator sizing up prey, that glint of defiance sharper than ever. The chocolate lava cake sat untouched, its sparkler now a faint wisp of smoke, the caramel Happy 30th mocking me from the plate. The air at Harborview's waterfront table felt like it could snap, every clink of cutlery and murmur from nearby diners amplifying the tension. I opened my mouth to diffuse, to say something, anything, to pull us back from the edge. But before I could, Lila stood, her chair scraping loud against the hardwood. You think you're so perfect, Auntie? She spat, voice slicing through the restaurant's hum. Throwing around your money, your fancy job, your fancy life? In one swift motion, she flung the wine, real wine, not the mocktail we'd ordered, straight at me. The red liquid arced, splashing my navy dress, soaking through to my skin like a cold betrayal. It spread across the fabric, a dark bloom ruining the 400 shimmer I'd felt so unstoppable in. Auntie Q Ngao, high and mighty my ass, Lila hissed, her accent slipping in her fury. The room went dead silent, forks frozen mid-air, every eye on us. Gasps rippled from my friends. Sarah's hand flew to her mouth. Mike's jaw clenched. Mark shot up, voice shaking. Lila, what the hell? But Harper just chuckled, a low, dismissive sound, like this was some harmless prank. She's just a kid, Greer. Don't make a scene, she said, already grabbing her purse. Evelyn reached for Lila's arm, soothing. Sweetie, let's calm down. This is a lot for her. A lot for her? The words burned, my chest tightening as wine dripped down my ribs. I'd spent years bailing them out, believing we were building something real, only to be humiliated in front of my closest friends. I waited, heart pounding, for an apology, some shred of accountability. Nothing. Harper stood, tossing her napkin down. Told you this place was too much? Should have stuck to pizza. Evelyn followed, murmuring, We'll talk later, dear. Lila smirked, phone already back in hand, and they walked out, leaving me drenched and exposed under the restaurant's soft lights. I forced a steady breath, my voice calm despite the storm inside. Thanks for coming, everyone. Let's wrap this up. Sarah reached for my hand. Greer, that was way out of line. You okay? Mike muttered, unbelievable, while Jen slid me a stack of napkins. I dabbed at the stain, the fabric clinging wetly, but it was no use. My friends rallied, insisting on settling the bill, their support a lifeline as the server cleared plates with an awkward smile. Mark's face was a mix of fury and shame. I'm so sorry, babe. I'll talk to them. But I shook my head, too raw to unpack it. We boxed leftovers, said goodbyes, and I drove home, the Seattle skyline blurring through unshed tears. In my condo, alone after Mark left to confront his family, I sank onto the couch, still in that ruined dress. The dam broke. Hot tears streamed as years of swallowed hurts flooded out. Every wire transfer, every ignored milestone, every time I'd played the good future daughter-in-law, it was all for this? Mark texted, "Talk to Harper. She's pissed, says you overreacted. I'm on your side, but they're my family." The words cut deeper, his loyalty split. I scrolled Instagram, needing a distraction, but there it was. Lila's story, a blurry pic of me, wine-soaked and stunned, captioned, Auntie Q getting humbled, sorry not sorry, #fake fancy. Comments from her school friends piled on. LMAO, rich auntie got wrecked. And, bet she's crying in her condo now. Harper had liked it, her heart emoji a gut punch. My phone buzzed again. Mark, saying he'd tried arguing with them, but Harper shut him down. She's too sensitive, always has been. No remorse, just blame. I'd banked on a sorry, a moment where they'd own it. Instead, they doubled down, leaving me to drown in their resentment. Sitting there, the stained dress stiffening, I felt the illusion crack wide open. This wasn't family. It was a one-way street, and I'd been paving it with my own money and heart. Rita's words echoed. Don't let 'em bleed you dry. Enough was enough. I grabbed my phone, fingers steady now, and dialed my credit card company to cut Harper off. Then I texted my lawyer friend, Jen's cousin, about pulling the Civic I'd bought Lila. This wasn't over, not by a long shot. The condo was dead quiet, save for the faint hum of the fridge, as I sat on the couch, still in that ruined navy dress, the wine stains now stiff and dark like a bruise. Lila's Instagram post burned in my mind, her mocking caption, Auntie Q getting humbled, and Harper's heart emoji sealing the betrayal. My phone sat heavy in my hand, the screen glowing with Mark's last text. I'm on your side, but they're my family. His words twisted the knife, loyalty split down the middle, leaving me alone in the wreckage of my 30th birthday. The illusion I'd clung to, that my sacrifices would earn their love, lay shattered like a dropped glass. But something else was rising through the hurt, a fire, steady and fierce. I wasn't just done. I was ready to rewrite the rules. I opened my banking app, the numbers glaring back like a wake-up call. 5 years of helping Harper added up to over $70,000. $45,000 in wire transfers for rent, utilities, and emergencies that were often spa days or new sneakers. Another $7,000 on the credit card I'd foolishly made her an authorized user on, charges for boutique dresses, takeout, even a weekend trip to Portland I'd never been told about. The Honda Civic for Lila? $18,000 up front, plus $5,000 in insurance and gas stipends since she got her permit. I'd told myself it was for family, for Lila's future, but now it felt like I'd been played for a fool. My fingers trembled, not from sadness, but from clarity. This stops tonight. I dialed my credit card company, voice steady despite the late hour. I need to remove an authorized user, Harper Daniels. The rep, cheerful despite the midnight shift, confirmed it'd be done by morning. Anything else, Ms. Hayes? Not yet, I said, but my mind was already on the Civic. I'd put it in my name for insurance reasons, thank God for that foresight. A quick Google confirmed my rights. As the owner, I could reclaim it, No questions asked. I texted Jen's cousin, Matt, a lawyer who'd helped with my condo paperwork. Need advice. Repossessing a car I own. Call tomorrow? His reply pinged back. You're in the clear legally. Call at 9. Relief mixed with resolve. This wasn't petty. It was justice. Next, I called a tow service, arranging to pick up the Civic from Lila's school lot at dawn. It's registered to me, I explained, sending over the title. The guy didn't blink. We'll handle it. 7:30 sharp. Hanging up, I felt a weight lift, like I was finally taking back what was mine. But guilt crept in, whispering, Am I being too harsh? Lila's just a kid. Harper's struggling. I shoved it down. Rita's voice echoed from our last coffee break. You're not their ATM, Greer. Love doesn't mean letting people walk all over you. She was right. I'd been enabling their mess, and it was time to draw the line. My phone lit up with texts, each one a fresh jab. Harper first. Card got declined at gas station. What's your problem? Then Lila. You're seriously overreacting. It was just a joke. Evelyn's was softer but manipulative. Greer, dear, Lila's upset. Can we talk this out? I stared at the messages, my thumb hovering, itching to fire back. But I didn't. Silence was my first boundary, letting their words hang unanswered. Harper's next text escalated. Fix this card, or I'm telling Mark you're sabotaging us. No remorse, just demands. I muted notifications, my pulse steadying. Let them stew. Needing a voice of reason, I called Rita, knowing she'd be up late with her usual crime show marathon. Girl, what happened? She asked, hearing my shaky breath. I spilled it. The wine, the Instagram post, the years of being their bankroll. She listened, then cut through. You've been their doormat too long. Cutting them off ain't cruel. It's survival. You're allowed to put yourself first. Her words were like a lifeline, pulling me out of the guilt spiral. What's next? She asked. Taking back the car, I said, and no more cash. She laughed. That's my Greer. Get your house in order. I hung up, staring at the dress still clinging to me, a symbol of my naivety. I peeled it off, hanging it in the closet as a reminder, not of defeat, but of the moment I chose me. Sleep didn't come easy, but when it did, it was deep, unburdened by their expectations. Morning brought a new text from Harper, this time a half-assed apology. Sorry if Lila went too far. Can we fix this? I need the card for groceries. Classic. Fake remorse to keep the money flowing. I didn't reply, but my resolve hardened. Matt texted, Call when you're up. Car's yours. No contest. The tow company confirmed. Civics secured. Ready for pickup. As I prepped for the day, my phone buzzed again. Lila, frantic. My car's gone. Then Evelyn, pleading. Let's not make this worse. I ignored them, setting a meeting time, 3 p.m. at my place. They wanted to talk? Fine, but it'd be on my terms, with every receipt, financial and emotional, laid bare. The morning after my birthday dawned gray. Seattle's clouds heavy with the promise of rain, matching the weight still lingering from last night's disaster. I woke early, the condo quiet except for the faint drip of my coffee maker. That ruined navy dress hung in the closet, a stark reminder of the line I'd drawn. Harper's fake apology text. Sorry if Lila went too far. Sat unanswered on my phone, next to Lila's frantic, My car's gone! And Evelyn's pleading, Let's not make this worse. Their words swirled, but I was done bending. Last night's resolve had hardened like concrete. No more enabling. Today was about action, not reaction. I poured my coffee, the bitter steam grounding me, and got to work. First call was to the credit card company, confirming Harper's removal as an authorized user. It's done, Ms. Hayes, the rep said, voice chipper at 7 a.m. Anything else? All good, I replied, a small victory settling in. Next, Matt. My lawyer friend, picked up on the first ring. Greer, you're solid on the Civic. Title's in your name, no legal pushback possible. Tow company got it? I nodded, though he couldn't see. Picked up at 7:30 from Lila's school lot. Matt chuckled. You move fast. If they fight, call me. Doubt they've got a leg to stand on. His confidence bolstered mine. This wasn't revenge. It was reclaiming what was mine. The tow company texted. Civic secured at our lot, ready for pickup. I exhaled, picturing Lila's shock when she found the parking spot empty. Part of me twinged. Was I too harsh? But Rita's words from last night drowned it out. Love doesn't mean letting people walk all over you. I dialed my financial advisor, Karen, for a quick reality check. Greer, good to hear from you. What's up? I laid out the $70,000 I'd funneled to Harper over 5 years. Rent, credit card, the car. Karen's voice sharpened. That's a down payment on a second property or a hefty retirement boost. Without that drain, you could have grown it to $90,000 by now. Her numbers hit like a splash of cold water, clarifying the cost of my blind loyalty. You're young, she added. Set boundaries now, and your future's wide open. I thanked her, my mind already mapping out a life unburdened by their demands. Then Lila's call came, right on cue, her voice shrill through the speaker. Greer, my car's gone. Someone stole it. I stayed calm, sipping my coffee. It's not stolen, Lila. I took it back. It's in my name, and after last night, it's done. She gasped, then launched in. You're seriously doing this over a stupid prank? I need that car for school, practice, everything. Her panic sounded real, but then it shifted. Tears too quick, too practiced. I'm so sorry. Please, I didn't mean it. The crocodile tears were a gut check. Rita had warned me about this too. Lila, I said, voice even. You humiliated me, trashed my dress, and posted it online. Actions have consequences. Figure out the bus schedule. She sobbed harder, but I held firm, hanging up as her pleas turned to curses. Harper's call followed, her tone a mix of rage and manipulation. You cut off my card and took Lila's car? What kind of sister-in-law are you? I let her rant, her words bouncing off me like rain on pavement. You crossed a line, Harper, I said. No more handouts. She scoffed. You'll regret this. Mark won't stand for it. But Mark's text came through mid-call. I'm with you, babe. They're out of control. Do what you gotta do. His full support, no hesitation, was like a weight lifting. I hung up on Harper, her threats fading into background noise. Evelyn's voicemail came next, soft but dripping with guilt. Greer, dear, Lila's heartbroken and Harper's struggling. Can we talk this out? Family shouldn't be like this. I didn't call back. Their escalation, from panic to fake tears to blame, only solidified my stance. I texted them all. My place, 3 p.m. We'll talk, but things change now. No replies, just silence, which felt louder than their noise. I spent the afternoon prepping, pulling bank statements and screenshots of Lila's Instagram post. The comments from her friends, rich auntie got wrecked, still stinging. The numbers stared back, $45,000 in transfers, $7,000 in card charges, $23,000 total for the Civic. Evidence of my blind generosity, weaponized against me. Matt texted, Docs look airtight. Bring 'em to the meeting. Karen's advice looped in my head. Your future's wide open. By 2:30, my dining table was set with folders, a pot of coffee brewing, no frills. I wasn't playing nice anymore, just ready to lay it all bare. The clock hit 2:55 p.m., and my Ballard condo felt like a pressure cooker about to pop. The dining table was a battlefield, stacked with bank statements, credit card bills, and screenshots of Lila's Instagram post, her sneering caption, Auntie Q Ngao getting humbled, and Harper's heart emoji glaring from my tablet. A pot of coffee sat cooling, its bitter scent mixing with the faint salt air from the open balcony door. My phone buzzed. Rita, texting. "You got this, Greer. Stand tall. Don't let him guilt trip you." Her words were a shot of steel in my spine, echoing her advice from last night's call. I'd laid out my evidence, from the $70,000 I'd shelled out to Harper to the Civic's title in my name, ready to face them head-on. Mark sat beside me, his jaw set, a silent promise of backup after his text this morning. "I'm with you, babe." The buzzer sounded, sharp and final, and I opened the door to Harper's scowl, Lila's tear-streaked defiance, and Evelyn's martyr-like sigh. Harper stormed in first, tossing her purse on my couch. "You repoed Lila's car and cut my card? That's low, Greer." Lila followed, arms crossed, eyes red but hard. "I said sorry. What more do you want?" Evelyn trailed, clutching her worn handbag, voice soft but pointed. "This feels so unnecessary, dear. Can't we work this out?" I gestured to the table, voice steady despite the pulse hammering in my ears. "Sit. Let's talk facts." They hesitated, then sat, Harper's glare burning holes, Lila slumping with a huff, Evelyn fidgeting like she'd rather be anywhere else. Mark squeezed my hand under the table, his quiet strength anchoring me as I slid the folders forward. "Here's the deal," I started, opening the first file. 5 years, $70,000. That's what I've given you, Harper. $45,000 in transfers for rent, bills, you name it. $7,000 on my card for your spa days, takeout, trips. I tapped the statements, each number a weight lifted off my chest. The Civic? $18,000 plus $5,000 insurance and gas for Lila. I flipped to the Instagram screenshot, Lila's post staring back. "And this? Humiliating me online with your likes, Harper. That's not family. That's betrayal." The room went quiet, the only sound the distant hum of boats on the Sound. Harper's face flushed, but she leaned forward, voice sharp. "You're throwing numbers in our face to feel superior? I'm a single mom. Life's not that easy." I held her gaze, Rita's words echoing. "Stand tall." This isn't about superiority. It's about respect, or the lack of it. I've carried you, and you repaid me with wine on my dress and public mockery. Lila shifted, muttering. "It was a joke." I turned to her, calm but firm. A joke doesn't ruin a $400 dress or make me a punching bag online. Evelyn cut in, voice trembling. "Greer, Lila's young. She didn't mean harm, and Harper's trying." Always the defender, never the accountability. Mark spoke up, his tone low but steady. "Mom, stop." They crossed a line, and Greer's not the bad guy here. Harper shot him a look. "You're taking her side over family?" Mark didn't flinch. "You made it about sides when you let Lila do that." The argument escalated, their defenses piling up like a flimsy house of cards. Harper claimed the card charges were emergencies, but couldn't explain the nail salon receipts. Lila insisted her post was just for laughs, ignoring the vicious comments from her friends. "Rich auntie got wrecked." Evelyn tried guilt. "Family sticks together, Greer. Don't tear us apart." My stomach twisted. Guilt was their weapon, and I'd fallen for it too long. But Rita's text buzzed again, unseen. "Don't cave." I straightened, voice cutting through. "I'm not tearing anything. You did that. I'm done bankrolling disrespect." Harper switched tactics, her tone softening, eyes glistening, a classic play. "I'm sorry, okay? Things got heated. Can we move past this? I'll pay you back, I swear." The apology felt rehearsed, like her midnight texts begging for one last favor. I shook my head. "Words don't fix this, Harper. You've had years to show up differently." Lila piped up, tears welling again. "Please, I need the car. School's impossible without it." I met her eyes. "You've got a bus pass and a job. Figure it out." Evelyn gasped. "That's harsh, dear." But I was done softening the truth. I stood, sliding the folders back. The card's canceled. The car's mine. The college fund stays for Lila's education, but only if she earns it. No more free rides. I love you all, but I'm done being your ATM. Harper's face hardened. Lila's tears stopped cold, and Evelyn's lips pursed. Mark stood too, his hand on my shoulder. She's right. It's time for accountability. The silence was heavy, their eyes darting between defiance and dawning realization. Harper grabbed her purse, muttering, "You'll regret this." Lila stormed out, phone in hand. Evelyn lingered, whispering, "I hope we can fix this," but followed them out. As the door clicked shut, I exhaled, the condo air suddenly lighter. My phone lit up. Rita again. "Proud of you. You set the line." Mark pulled me into a hug, his voice soft. "You did good, babe." For the first time in years, I felt free, unburdened by their expectations. The fight wasn't over, but the next move was mine, and I was ready for whatever came in the months ahead. 6 months after that showdown in my condo, the air felt different, lighter, like Seattle's first clear day after a week of drizzle. The sting of my 30th birthday, with Lila's wine-soaked betrayal and Harper's heart emoji on that cruel Instagram post, had faded to a dull ache. I'd stood my ground, laid out the $70,000 truth, and set hard boundaries. No more card, no more car, no more playing family ATM. The silence that followed their angry exit had been deafening at first, but it gave me space to breathe, to rebuild. My phone, once a minefield of their demands, was quieter now. The angry texts dwindled. Harper's rants about sabotage tapered to nothing by month 3. Lila's whining about the bus stopped after a few weeks, and Evelyn's guilt trips lost their edge. I'd held firm, and it was paying off, though not without bumps. Lila, to my surprise, got a job. Not a glamorous one, barista at a coffee shop near her school in Tacoma, but it was something. I heard about it through Mark, who'd been my rock, relaying updates without pushing me to soften. "She's pulling shifts, saving for a used car," he said over tacos one night, his pride cautious but real. I nodded, stirring my drink, the ice clinking softly. Part of me wanted to cheer for her, but the memory of her smirk held me back. Still, it was progress. She'd stumbled, though, quit after a month, claiming the boss was too strict. Her Instagram rants about wage slavery got likes from her usual crew, but a few friends commented, "Girl, you gotta stick with it." That shift in their tone, calling her out, felt like a small win for accountability. Lila went back, tail between her legs, and last I heard, she was still slinging lattes. I didn't reach out, boundaries stayed tight, but I let myself hope she was learning. Harper, too, was moving, albeit slower. She landed a job, data entry at a logistics firm, ironic given my own career. Mark showed me a text from her. "First steady paycheck in years." She'd moved out of her rundown Tacoma apartment into a smaller one-bedroom, splitting rent with a coworker. "It's a downgrade, but she's managing," Mark said, his voice tinged with relief. I wanted to believe it, but I'd seen her fresh starts crash before, like that call center gig she swore would stick, only to blow it for a weekend fling. Sure enough, a month in, she texted me. "Hey, new place is tight. Can you spot me $200 for utilities? I'm good for it." A fake olive branch, dressed up as progress. I didn't bite. "You've got this, Harper," I replied, short and final. No reply followed, and I felt a quiet thrill. Saying no was getting easier. Evelyn's call came one rainy afternoon, her voice softer than I'd ever heard. "Greer, I've been thinking," she started, hesitant. "You were right to set limits. Harper's trying, Lila too. I should have pushed them harder." It wasn't an apology, but it was close, an acknowledgement that landed like a cautious step forward. I kept my response neutral. "Glad they're moving forward, Evelyn." She invited me to dinner, a family reset, but I declined. not ready to test those waters. My heart still carried scars. Lila's Auntie Q Ngao, Harper's entitlement, Evelyn's blind favoritism. Progress was nice, but trust? That was a longer road. Inside, I wrestled with it all, pacing my balcony as the sound glittered below. Part of me felt lighter, freed from their weight. Karen, my financial advisor, had been right. Without their drain, my savings were climbing, enough for a summer trip or a wedding fund boost. But guilt lingered, whispering, "Should I help again?" I shoved it down, Rita's voice louder. "You're not their savior, Greer." She texted me that week. "Heard they're stepping up. Your tough love's working. Keep it up." It was validation, but the real win was my own reflection. I'd stopped shrinking to fit their mold. My life, my condo, my career, my plans with Mark, was mine to shape now. The test came when Evelyn pushed again for that family dinner, a new start, at her place. Mark was hopeful. "Maybe it's a chance, babe." I agreed, but only on my terms. Neutral ground, a diner in Seattle, not her turf. They said yes, and as I hung up, my stomach knotted. Could they really change? Or was this another cycle of false promises? I'd find out soon enough, over plates of greasy fries and coffee, where the truth would either hold or unravel. The diner smelled of fried onions and strong coffee, the kind of place where the vinyl booths creaked and the jukebox played old Springsteen tracks. 8 months after my 30th birthday disaster, I sat across from Mark's family at a corner table in this Seattle greasy spoon, the neutral ground I'd insisted on for our first family reset dinner. The fluorescent lights cast harsh shadows, but the mood was softer than I'd expected. Monthly dinners had become our new normal. Tentative at first, just me, Mark, and Evelyn testing the waters, then Harper joining, and finally Lila, each step a cautious dance towards something better. Tonight, the air felt different, like the calm after a storm. Though I kept my guard up, memories of Lila's wine-soaked sneer and Harper's heart emoji on that Instagram post still sharp. Lila, now 17, looked different, less defiant, her phone tucked away for once. She'd stuck with her barista job, even got a promotion to shift lead, and her usual crop tops were swapped for a plain sweater. Halfway through her burger, she set it down, eyes meeting mine, steady but nervous. "Greer, I owe you an apology," she said, voice low but clear. "That night, throwing the wine, the post, it was messed up. I was jealous, acting out. You didn't deserve that." The words hit like a warm breeze, unexpected and real. I nodded, throat tight. "Thanks, Lila. That means something." She fidgeted, then added, "I'm saving for a car. No more handouts." Her friends had shifted too. Mark showed me their group chat, where one called her out. "You were harsh on your aunt. Make it right." That accountability from her own circle felt like growth. Harper was quieter, picking at her fries, her usual bravado dialed down. She'd enrolled in night classes, bookkeeping, of all things, aiming for a better gig than her data entry job. Over coffee refills, she looked up, her voice rough. "I screwed up, Greer. I leaned on you too hard, made bad calls, thought I could skate by. You were right to cut me off." It wasn't groveling, just raw honesty, the kind I hadn't heard from her before. I wanted to believe it, but her track record, fake apologies, emergency cash grabs, kept me wary. "Appreciate that," I said, keeping it short. "Keep showing up like this and we're good." She nodded, but later, as we paid the bill, she slipped. "If I hit a rough patch with tuition, could you—" I cut her off, firm but calm. "You've got this, Harper. No more bailouts." Her face fell, a flicker of old entitlement, but she backed off, a sign the lesson was sinking in. Evelyn's apology came last, over pie slices, apple, tart, and warm. Her hands twisted her napkin, eyes glassy. "Greer, I failed you as a mother-in-law. I let Harper and Lila lean too hard, excused it all. I should have been your champion, not their enabler." Her voice cracked, And for once, I saw her. Not the doting mom shielding her kids, but a woman owning her blind spots. "I'm trying to do better," she added. I reached across, squeezing her hand. "We're here now, Evelyn. That's a start." The moment felt fragile, like a new bridge we'd all have to walk carefully. My own life was blooming in ways I hadn't expected. I'd picked up pottery classes on weekends, my hands shaping clay into lopsided bowls at a studio near the locks. It was messy, grounding, a reminder I could build without carrying others. Sarah, my work buddy, noticed the shift at our last coffee catch-up. "Girl, you're glowing," she said, grinning over her latte. "No more family baggage dragging you down. You're free." Her words landed like a badge of honor, proof I'd reclaimed my space. Mark, too, was all in, planning our wedding, no longer torn between me and his family. "You set the bar, and they're rising to it," he said one night, his arms around me as we watched the city lights from my balcony. But old habits die hard. At the diner, Harper tried one last push as we grabbed our coats. "Greer, just a small loan for books. The table tensed, Lila and Evelyn watching. I shook my head, voice steady. "You're in school, Harper. You'll figure it out." She bristled, but Lila cut in. "Mom, drop it. She's done enough." The rebuke from her own daughter was a jolt. Harper backed off, mumbling, "Fine." It wasn't perfect, but it was progress, missteps corrected in real time. As we left the diner, the rain had stopped, the pavement gleaming under streetlights. I felt lighter, the weight of their expectations no longer mine to carry. But my 31st birthday was around the corner, and I couldn't help wondering, would this new balance hold, or was another test waiting? The question of whether our fragile new balance would hold lingered as my 31st birthday approached, a quiet hum of anticipation mixed with caution. Last year's disaster at Harborview, Lila's wine-soaked attack, Harper's betrayal, Evelyn's excuses, had reshaped me, teaching me that love doesn't mean saying yes to everything. Those monthly diner meetups had built something better, grounded in accountability, and I wanted this birthday to reflect that shift. No lavish plans, no $400 dresses, just a small gathering at my Ballard condo, with pizza, good company, and no expectations. The evening air carried a crisp Seattle chill as I set out plates, the smell of pepperoni and garlic wafting through the room. My pottery experiments, wobbly mugs and bowls, lined the counter, a quirky testament to my new hobby, one that kept my hands busy and my heart light. Sarah and Mike arrived first, their laughter filling the space as they dropped off a homemade cake, chocolate, slightly lopsided, with "Happy 31st, boss," scrawled in icing. "We're not bakers, but we tried," Mike grinned, and I hugged them both, warmth spreading through me. Mark was next, his arms full of wine and a soft smile that said he was all in. Then came Evelyn, Harper, and Lila, right on time, a first. Evelyn carried a Tupperware of her famous pecan pie, Harper a simple card, and Lila a small wrapped box. No grand gestures, just presents, and that felt like enough. We sat around my dining table, the same one where I'd laid out their $70,000 tab a year ago, now covered with pizza boxes and paper plates. The vibe was easy, the conversation flowing. Sarah teasing Mark about his terrible karaoke skills. Mike recounting a warehouse mishap. No undercurrents, no jabs. Evelyn raised her glass, sparkling cider, not wine, a nod to last year's mess. "To Greer, for showing us what strength looks like," she said, her voice steady. Harper nodded. "To you, for real," Lila chimed in, quieter. "Happy birthday, Greer." Their toasts were genuine, no trace of the half-hearted murmurs from Harborview. I smiled, clinking my glass, the moment settling like a soft landing after a turbulent flight. When gifts came, Sarah's was a pottery class voucher. "Keep making those weird bowls." And Mike's a Mariners cap, perfect for spring games. Harper's card was heartfelt, no drugstore afterthought, and Evelyn's pie was a slice of her best effort. Lila's gift was last, a small keychain, a tiny coffee cup charm, clearly from her barista gig. "I paid for it myself," she said, eyes meeting mine. No defiance, just pride. "From my tips." I hugged her, the gesture small but heavy with meaning. "Means a lot, Lila," I said, and it did, a symbol she was learning to stand on her own. As we dug into cake, I caught myself reflecting, the city lights glinting through my balcony window. Saying no had been my hardest lesson, but it was love in its truest form. Setting boundaries that forced growth, not just for me, but for them. Lila's job, Harper's night classes, Evelyn's newfound fairness. They weren't perfect, but they were trying, and that was enough for now. My own life had bloomed too. I'd taken a solo trip to Portland, wandering art galleries and food trucks, feeling free in a way I hadn't in years. Pottery classes filled my weekends, and Mark and I were dating with a new spark, unburdened by family drama. That night, as we cleared plates, he pulled me aside, his eyes bright. "What if we made it official?" he said, voice low. "Wedding next summer. Your call." My heart leapt, not just for the proposal, but for the life we were building, one where I wasn't the fixer anymore. Harper lingered as others left, her face softer. "I'm still in school. Slow going, but I'm sticking with it. Thanks for not giving up on us." I nodded. No promises, just acknowledgement. Lila hugged me again, Evelyn too, their warmth real but tempered by memory. We'd healed, not fully but enough, built on respect instead of obligation. As they left, my condo quieted, Mark's hand in mine. I stood on the balcony, the sound shimmering below, feeling whole. Saying no hadn't just saved me, it had saved us all, carving a path to something healthier. If this story hit home, hit like, drop a comment, and share it with a friend, then subscribe for the next one on our channel. You won't want to miss what's coming.